We have the FDA, the IRS, the EPA, FEMA, and many others, functioning autonomously and unchecked with the full force of the federal government.
It's a government of, by, and for the bureaucrat. It really is a government that's out of control and that threatens our liberties every day.
There's a concern right now that the FDA has been influenced by Big Pharma in such a way that they're going to remove from the marketplace all of the new dietary ingredients that were introduced after October 15, 1994.
They've also tried to institute maximum dose levels so that dietary supplements sold above a certain dose level could only be available by prescription.
The FDA uses its power to censor and disallow truthful claims about the value of nutritional supplements.
The dietary supplement industry is under siege by the FDA. Drug lobbyists do not want the American public to have access to low-cost, totally safe nutritional supplements that compete with pharmaceuticals.
The FDA uses Gestapo-like tactics when it decides to take action against a dietary supplement company or a food company.
We have 100,000 armed federal agents, many of them working for the Food and Drug Administration, and we see that those agents are engaging in behaviors that are reprehensible.
They started walking around, they drew their guns, and I'm like, why are you drawing guns?
The raid on Rossum involved no less than 5 government agencies. In the past 3 years, there have been at least 8 government raids across the U.S. involving raw dairy.
The U.S. Food Safety and Modernization Act would give the FDA more money to hire agents and begin arresting small organic gardeners, raw dairy farmers, people who provide food to local farmers markets.
Are we going to be forced to consume GMOs and chemically laced food and milk with recombinant bovine growth hormone? Are we going to have to eat animals with antibiotics? And the answer is you already are.
You could be violating laws you don't even know exist. We need to plan a march on FDA headquarters with a list of all our demands.
Bureaucrats effectively taking control of the way in which we choose to manage our own health.
The FDA is obviously following drug company instructions. And that's really the basic problem that we have here in America.
If they implement all the power they already have, we will live in a food fascism world.
It's almost guerrilla tactics. It's very threatening and coercive and intimidates.
The process is broken and in bad need of repair, and the American public is at risk.
The FDA is truly a rogue agency being run by rogues from industry, government, academia.
The drugs that are approved in this country are not always approved based on scientific data. They're approved based on who has the right political connections.
It's obvious that the Food and Drug Administration should be subjected to a real house cleaning by outraged families who've lost their loved ones.
There are many drugs that the Food and Drug Administration has approved that are unsafe, at least 2 unsafe for the FDA's own medical reviewers to agree that they should be on the market.
Rather than have confidence that a drug approved by the FDA is safe and effective, we now have to wait for millions of people to take it and to see what kind of reactions they have in the real world.
Vioxx has killed at least 60,000 Americans. Increase in heart attack risk was over 500%. And yet the drug company making Vioxx covered that information up.
Where there's criminal activity by executives of drug companies, they frequently get away with paying a fine and have no major disruption of their enterprise.
They're spending $6 million a day on lobbyists in Washington, D.C. alone.
FDA receives 40% of their budget from drug companies. They're hired guns, and they're out there serving the best interests of the companies. They do not represent the American public.
The FDA, in my opinion, has probably killed more Americans in this country than all the wars that the U.S. has ever fought combined.
How can it possibly be that a branch or a division of this government is not beholden to the Constitution? This is a government of tyranny.
Excellent film. Everyone should see this film.
It's very shocking, surprising, and fascinating, illuminating, and enlightening.
The film shows that the FDA and pharmaceutical companies operate like a criminal syndicate with impunity.
It must be shown to every single responsible American.
Empowering. I'm outraged. Let's do something.
It's one of the best films you ever made.
An excellent presentation against evil.
A wake-up call.
We'll be spreading the word.
The message is authentic.
It's very informative.
It's outrageous.
It takes a lot of courage to speak truth to power.
Very courageous. An education of the truth.
This is a film that everyone should see.
Frightening in its implications.
Reinforced my beliefs.
The film was extremely informative and very on point.
Pervasive awareness.
The call is for action.
It's our duty to promulgate the truth and light of this film by Gary Null. I just thank everyone for this great job that they've done.
Awesome.